Welcome to the Pathfinder Mentorships YouTube channel. In part 1 of our Financial Education for Students series, we will be discussing what financial aid is and what types there are. With everything going on in college, it can be hard to know what to prioritize. Between juggling major classes, extracurriculars, and a social life, it's easy to forget about those dreaded tuition payments. No matter what major or career path you end up choosing, tuition and financial aid will always be a part of it. This presentation, compiled by one of Pathfinder's mentors, Janel Villamor, will help you to understand the basics and get over your worries and anxieties when it comes to tuition, aid, and debt. First, let's take a look at loans and how this affects your financial aid. Financial aid is money given to a student either through the government, his or her school, or a third party to help pay for higher education. There are different types of financial aid, and one of those is grants. Grants are money given to you based on things like your academic merit, otherwise known as your GPA, your financial need, your family background, and etc. Work-study is money you receive in exchange for your services. Typically, there are hundreds of work-study jobs on campus, and you can pretty easily get one of those jobs. The good thing about work-study is that the money you earn from this job will not affect your eligibility for financial aid the next year, whereas a job off campus will be taken into account as income. Next, we have the infamous college loan. Loans are funds given to your college for your expenses, either through a government loan company, these are known as Stafford loans, or through a private bank. All loans accumulate interest and must be paid back. However, they come in different flavors, and we will discuss this later on. And lastly, we have scholarships. A scholarship is typically awarded based on academic merit, but can also be awarded for student interests, accomplishments, religion, ethnicity, family background, and so on. Scholarships can be awarded from your school as well as by third-party sources such as foundations and nonprofit organizations. Also, most colleges automatically award students a scholarship based on their academic performance in high school, so you don't even have to apply. Other than loans, these forms of financial aid do not have to be repaid. They are essentially free money. Now let's talk about loans specifically. For both undergraduate and graduate students, loans are typically offered to you after you file your FAFSA. For undergraduate students, however, you get the benefit of receiving two types of loans. If you have already exhausted all other forms of financial aid and loans are the only option left, typically, subsidized loans are taken before unsubsidized. The reason for this is because subsidized loans are interest-free while you're in school at least half time. Let's highlight the difference between loans using a simple example. Let's say you're a student in need of some money. Because you've exhausted all other resources, you have to take either a subsidized or an unsubsidized loan. Let's say that you're offered $10,000 in both cases, and both have the same annual interest rate of 5%. What this means is whenever you finish college, let's say the typical 4 years, you will owe $10,000 back to the government or your private lender, and from then on, you will accrue 5% annually. For the unsubsidized loan, from the very first moment that you accept your loan, you now owe money, and interest accrues. So in year one, when you're still in college and probably not making that much money, you will take that $10,000 and multiply it by 5% to get what you now owe, which is $10,500. In year two of college, you don't add just another $500. You take 5% of $10,500, which will get you $11,025. The same happens in year three. You take 5% of $11,025, and you'll now owe $11,576.25. And in year four, the same again. You will owe $12,155.06. And then you graduated college, and now the 5% continues to tack on. So although you were given $10,000 in both cases, you can see that by the time you graduate school, these two are not the same. This is most likely the reason why most students accept the subsidized loan before taking the unsubsidized loan. Beyond subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans, there are many subtypes. Feel free to pause the video here to go over some examples. Now that we have a better grasp on the different loan types, it's important to know how to get these loans. Dependent students typically receive less on their loan amount because they are required to supply the financial information of their parents. Applying as an independent may get you more money, but either way, it has to be repaid at some point. If you meet any of the requirements in the circle, you are considered an independent student. For those of you applying to graduate school, subsidized loans are not available to you. Instead, if you accept your maximum loan limit for an unsubsidized loan, you can then apply for a Graduate Plus loan. Grad Plus loans work similarly to unsubsidized loans, but there is also a loan fee that comes along with it. Dependent undergraduate students can also have their parents apply for a Grad Plus loan. This concludes our presentation on educational loans and financial aid. If you would like to learn more, feel free to check out the Pathfinder Mentorship.com for additional resources, such as Part 2 to this video, which covers loan repayment strategies. It should be noted that the purpose of this video is for financial education and in no way should be taken as financial advice. Always speak to a professional consultant before making any financial decisions. And always remember, forge your own path.